Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Gracefish program. Today I'm going to share with you a little bit about how I made the gracefish, and I'm just going to show you one way that you might choose to decorate it. So this is the gracefish, and I think most of you watching should have your gracefish kit. It comes in a little plastic baggie, and you'll open it up, and there'll be this piece and the gracefish piece. So all you have to do is the fish literally has this extra little piece at the bottom that goes in the slot, and you would put it on a table. I'm going to use my hand like this, and it's hard on my hand because my hand's not completely flat. But the little stand will allow it to stand up. Let's do it on my table so you can actually see. So that's how it's supposed to be. Now, it looks fine as it is, natural. And that could be an option. Maybe you just leave it alone. Maybe you just put a little clear coat on it to just keep it protected so that when you dust it, it'll be easier to dust. Or what I like to do is I have a whole bucket of nail polish. I like to paint on the wood with the nail polish. I think it gives it a nice finished look, and it keeps it protected. And you could even choose to leave parts of the fish in the natural wood color if you like, and just have some nail polish. But I'm really quickly just going to show you how easy it is to paint. I'm going to go with red and green, not just because of Christmas coming up, but because actually I have a lot of red and green in my living room, dining room area. So just going to show you. So I have a green, sort of a light sparkly color here. I'm going to go ahead and I am just simply painting the wood just like I would my fingernails. And I just kind of, let me lower my camera so you can see what I'm doing better. Just gonna lay it on, not too thick, just really like I would my nail polish. I want to be there. So hopefully you can see. I'm not glopping it on. I'm just, like I say, a normal amount. And it really doesn't take very long at all to paint these things. Now, one thing you can think about, if you're going to keep your fish out all the time, you might want to take some E6000 or even some hot glue and put some glue on this part so that it's more permanently affixed in the little stand. But if you're just going to bring the gracefish out, say for Thanksgiving and Christmas time, and you don't want it out all year round, you may not want to do that. The reason being that it's super easy to store this little fish in a drawer or a box if you can separate the fish from the stand, because of course, if you can separate the two, it doesn't take much room up at all to store, which I thought ended up being kind of a nice perk. But it's up to you to decide how you want to handle that. So I've decided to outline my fish. Anything that's fish, I'm doing green. Except the I and the word grace. I'm almost done. Bear with me. It does take a couple minutes to get it all covered. But like I say, it's pretty straightforward on the painting. And you will want to make sure you let it dry. Here's another tip. If you don't let your nail polish dry completely and you put your fish into the little stand, what you're probably going to find is that the nail polish will act as a glue and your fish will get stuck in your stand. So you do want to make sure that if you have plans to not have it be permanently in the stand, that you wait till this nail polish is all very dry. Okay, so now I'm going to do red on the Grace and the eye. And this is a really small area, so it shouldn't take any time at all. You do need to be a little more careful when you get to the eye and the Grace, because you don't want your red paint in the areas where you've put the green, but still not too difficult. And I think I'm going to paint my stand red too. So you're probably wondering how I designed this fish. What I used was an app that you can get for an iPad. It's called Procreate. And there is a little bit of a charge. It's not a free app, but it was fairly affordable. I can't remember the exact cost off the top of my head, but it was under $10 to be able to have this app. And I use it a lot. With Procreate, you can design all sorts of things. You can draw things that can then be saved in a number of different file formats. And I drew this fish. Now I do have my own Apple pencil. So I drew this in the Procreate app with my Apple pencil. And then when I had it just how I wanted it, so there's how that's looking, I saved it as a PDF file and I brought it over into, I'm painting my stand now, I brought it over into the Glowforge. And because all of my different pieces, I don't have any engraving on this. So it's super easy to design it so that everything was connected. So when I was drawing the fish, what I did is I drew a fish shape and then I hand wrote Grace in it. And then I doubled my lines and I used the eraser in the Procreate app to get rid of all the places where I didn't want a line to be. Because remember, when you use the Glowforge, any line that it's picking up on, it will be cut. So it's kind of a challenge, a little bit of a brain teaser. You got to figure out how to plan your design so that everything's connected in a way that you'll have one whole object after the cutting is done. If you want to think of it like this, for those of you who may be familiar with Celtic knotwork, it's a little bit like that. It's one continuous shape with everything connected so that when the cuts are made, you still have a whole piece. So that's how I did that. Now, maybe you're thinking, I don't have an iPad, and I certainly don't have an iPad pencil. So I guess I can't do this kind of stuff with the Glowforge. Well, I have some good news for you. Actually you can. So there's my base. It's just red. And once they're dry, good and dry, I can put them together and I'll give you an idea. So this is what a painted fish might look like. I'm not going to put it together because they're still wet, but that's basically the idea. And I got green on my fingers. But anyway, if you wanted to do your own sort of project like this, and you don't have an iPad, maybe you're not super comfortable with using technology to draw and create designs, you could hand draw things on regular paper with something as simple as a pen. And there is a trace function. So let's say you drew basically what I did. You drew a fish like this on your paper, and I would do a rough draft of this, and then I would erase all the places where any lines cross. And then I'd probably come back in with a fresh paper and trace my rough design so that I wouldn't have any eraser marks to confuse the Glowforge. And we'd put the clean copied version of your design in the machine. There is a trace mode that you can use to be able to cut your very own designs out using the Glowforge. The one thing that's different about doing your design by hand versus having the tools to be able to do it on the computer is that when you do it by hand, your cuts could be a little bit less smooth because the machine is going to detect every little wiggle in your line. Now you might think, well, I don't have wiggles in my lines. You'd be surprised. When you draw things by hand, they're not really as straight and crisp as you think they are. The machine can detect every little, like I say, wiggle in your line. So it might not be quite as smooth as this, but there is a solution to that. So let's say you did something like this, and it was a little more rough cut than you would like. You could sand it. And then, of course, that would get rid of any unevenness or wiggliness in the line and make for a smoother finish. So I encourage you to decorate your fish. And if you really think it came out nicely and maybe you put it on your Thanksgiving table or you have put it somewhere you're decorating with your grace fish, I wouldn't mind having a photograph sent to the library. I'd love to share anybody's their finished product because I think that would be fun. And I think it would be fun if anybody wants to try drawing something or designing something on paper, and then we'll put it into the machine. Just think of the potential you could make. Let's say you hand drew a circle. You could even trace around something for the circle or trace around something for a square shape, whatever shape you like. You could do a family member's name inside of the shape and then make sure that the name connects to the frame. And you could do something like that and turn it into a Christmas tree ornament. How cool would that be? So I hope some of you will pursue some of these ideas I'm throwing out there and give me a call. I'm happy to help you if you do come up with a design. And I'm excited always when any of you get in the mode to be creative. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy your grace fish. And also I hope that this little grace fish helps to remind you that even though we're in a very challenging and difficult time, that there's still things to look toward, to be grateful for. It may take a little more effort, but certainly we all have things, probably many more things to be grateful for than maybe we consciously are aware of usually. So this might make us be a little more aware and a little more grateful, which is always a good thing, especially when things are maybe not as easy as they used to be. So thanks for tuning in, and Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Bye.